Yes.
compared to a foreigner,
Yes.
do you do something about that foreigner that is different to your indigenous person?
I think people who need benefits, who cannot work...
But you made a distinction about the indigenous...
Do you want me to answer the question, Mick?
Well, you've been talking...
The Telegraph host Camilla wanted Mick Lynch to blame migrants for Britain's problems. He didn't take the bait. Instead, he pointed at the real culprit, employers who keep wages low. Watch how the debate unfolds into a heated conversation. If you want to see more videos like this, hit like and subscribe. I'll give my thoughts at the end. Now let's get into it.
But the other big elephant in the room here that you're not addressing is mass migration since 1997. Now, the so-called indigenous British worker...
Why do I have to address it?
Well, I think you do, because I think the indigenous British worker might argue...
So this is a capitalist mechanism.
It was a problem.
Mass migration.
It was a problem that people came in and undercut their wages.
Mass migration.
And, by the way, leapfrogged them on housing lists.
Mass migration is a mechanism of the capitalist economy in the UK.
Do you agree with mass migration?
It's a natural facet of what's been going on.
But did it go too far?
Well, you'd have to ask George Osborne
what do you think?
and David Cameron, who introduced this policy.
Blair started it, didn't he?
Well, Blair had a policy about migration that was a successor to the single market economy.
Well, net migration into the UK before Blair took power,
the single market?
25,000.
Who brought us into the single market?
In the 25 years afterwards, 7 million, Mick. So you telling me your members don't feel that immigration has failed in some
Who brought us
aspects?
into the single market and the four freedoms, including the free movement of labour, the Conservative Party, and the Maastricht Treaty, and all of that single market?
We've agreed Blair and Brown double down on
was a Thatcherite policy.
OK.
And it was delivered. Now... Hang on.
Yeah, go on.
I don't believe in blaming people who've migrated to this country, including my parents, to seek a better life.
From Ireland, to clarify.
During the war, during the war.
Sure.
And have given a family of 5 an opportunity, right? I don't believe in blaming people because they're serving the economy that capitalism has dictated in this country.
Yes.
It's the capitalist economy that has demanded this labour, much of which is the low-wage economy.
Exactly.
The capitalist economy also emptied...
Mass migration could have driven wages down.
The capitalist economy has also emptied the factories and mills of this country.
Has mass migration driven wages down in this country?
Well, we'll have to see. I don't know. Have you got the facts and figures?
Well, I think it's been suggested that it has.
Well,
because
who's suggesting it?
Well, you could ask, for
instance...
Who
is suggesting it?
You could ask, for instance,
when we tried to regulate
that... back in the noughties, whether they were being undercut by Romanians and Polish people.
When we tried to regulate
that... And they would say, Mick,
when we tried
to
regulate that through trade union negotiation and trade union action, you decry it. Because we don't ask people what colour they are or where they've come from.
No.
I remember working on building sites in the 80s in London, where London workers were saying we shouldn't allow these northerners onto our sites.
Sure. But then the other problem
we shouldn't allow Geordies and Scots people and people and Scousers.
You've cited your hard-working parents. Don't you think that there is an argument to suggest that when it comes to immigration policy, one must favouritize quality over quantity? That if people come here and make a contribution,
I'm not going down the road that the Telegraph.
But
the Telegraph seems to be preparing itself,
and they aren't working, and they're taking from the state rather than contributing.
To become
a
fully signed up affiliate of reform.
No.
And all of the racism and disunity that's going to cause.
This isn't a racist.
What I see coming out of the Telegraph every day is making space for racism.
No, absolutely not. Because, funny enough, many Telegraph readers...
Racism is in the eye of the beholder.
No, because I think you're bigger than that, Mick. I think reaching for the racism lever when somebody suggests that perhaps mass migration did contribute to a lowering of unskilled workers' wages and indeed put more people on housing lists that might have challenged those who wanted to get the council housing you've talked about.
There isn't any council housing.
It's not
there isn't any council housing.
Mick, let me finish.
Because Margaret Thatcher sold it all.
Let me finish. To then sort of cry racism bigger. Just to clarify, no, we're not affiliated with Reform.
You're on the way to it.
Many readers do not support Nigel Farage.
Well, my prediction is that you will support Reform at the next election.
All right, well, you make that prediction. You say me. I'm not in charge of this newspaper.
You're representing this paper.
Right, I'm representing this paper and I'm trying to push
I
back
think you'll
against
be
you
fully signed
pointing
up to a reform
racist
project.
when people say that perhaps mass migration into this country, particularly of low-skilled workers, may have depreciated
that-
wages
but
and may
they-
have put extra pressure
They said
on
that.
public services.
They said
Nick.
that in the
Is
1840s
that
when the Irish had to come here.
Is that a racist point? I don't think it is.
The
I think
Irish
it's an
had to come here
economic
because
one.
of the famine created by the landlords in Ireland
Sure.
in the 1840s.
Sure.
They said that in every town in Britain,
But
that
they
they're undermining the
contributed,
wages.
didn't they? I think people are worried about people coming here and not making
are you
a
saying that
contribution.
people that have migrated to this country don't contribute?
Some of them don't because they're not working.
Well, maybe they're not able to work.
Okay.
But you
the state
seem
then
to be
has
making this
fund that.
generalisation that migrant people,
Some
people that have
work and some
emigrated
don't.
over the
Like
last
some British
50
work
years.
and some don't.
Yeah, so why do you make a distinction about them? They're either
Because-
people in work or out of work.
Well,
what difference does their
that's
colour
'cause-
or origin make?
No, it doesn't make any difference. I'm not
Well, you've
interested.
made the distinction.
No, because I made the distinction between people who come here and make a contribution to the economy and society.
What about people who are born here that don't make a contribution to society?
Well, I have the same concerns about them.
So
because
why
you
make
and
a
I
distinction?
Because you and I started this podcast talking about people who worked and made a contribution.
So why do you make a distinction
Because-
based on people's origins?
Because I'm saying that we've had a mass influx
But
of
if you
people
make a
in
distinction,
the millions
if a person
to this
chooses-
country.
if
It's
a
put
person
pressure on
chooses-
housing lists and public services, and therefore it's put pressure
If a
on the
person-
economy because we need more people in the public sector to cope with that, and then we need
If
to
a person
pay them
such
more.
as you,
Yes.
an educated person,
Sure.
erudite,
Barely.
chooses to make a distinction about people on the basis of their ethnic or national origin, I would say that you're on the path to racism.
No, I'm making a distinction
Which is
about
what
them.
Farage does.
No, you're misunderstanding me. I'm making an assessment of both indigenous Brits, if we can call them that, and indeed
I don't know what
immigrants.
indigenous Brit is.
Well, it's somebody who's born in
Am
Britain.
I an indigenous Brit?
Were you born in Britain or Ireland?
I was born in Britain.
Okay, so you're an
But I'm
indigenous
indigenous.
Brit. Yeah, that's, I mean, a British-born person, Mick, versus a foreign-born person. I'm trying to say...
So it's foreigners
that
you're talking about then?
I'm talking about
So you're making a
those
distinction
who make a
based on... So foreigners are somehow different to
No.
British people?
Mick, I don't know why you're going down this bizarre line of,
It's your
because-
line that's bizarre.
No,
You choose to
you've
make
reached-
distinctions
you've
about
made the
people
mistake.
based on their origins.
No, Mick, I'm sorry. This is actually getting slightly preposterous. You've reached for the, because I don't agree with you, because you're on the right, you're a racist and a bigot. And I'm saying that's not the point I'm trying to make. I'm actually trying to align with the point you made at the very beginning of this Daily Tea, which is that we want to see as many people in work as possible.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that in order to
And we don't want to
foster-
distinguish based on their background or ethnicity.
But I'm not. I'm saying we need to distinguish people as to the contribution that we need to encourage
So
them to
what-
make to the economy.
what will you do if
versus
somebody-
a non-contribution that
What-
could
what
be
will you do
a
if
drag
somebody
on the
who's in a
state
job-
that taxpayers,
Hang on.
workers have to pay for?
So if you're-
that's why the tax
if you're
burden's
what you-
gone up, Mick.
if you co-
Let me ask you this: would
Hang
you
on.
rather workers paid more tax or less?
Let's address your
as
point.
we're doing
We
socialism
need-
versus capitalism.
We needed to pay the right
or
tax for
good
the services.
versus evil, or racist versus non-racist.
We need to
weirdly.
we need to pay the right tax to run the
What is
services
the
that we
right
decide we
tax?
want. I don't know. It depends on the
Tax
services.
burden's at an
Now, listen,
all-time high. It's nearly in the 40s. Should it be in the 30%?
If an indigenous person, as you
Sure.
called them,
I
an
said,
indigenous
ind-
British person
Indigenous is
loses
just
their
another
job,
word for describing
loses their
someone
job, and
born
has to
in
go
Britain.
on unemployment benefit.
Yes,
Compared to a foreigner,
yes.
do you do something about that foreigner that is different to
I
your
think
indigenous
people who
person?
need benefits, who cannot work.
But you
and
made a
need-
distinction about
Do you want me
indigenous.
to answer the question, Mick?
Well, you've been talking over me.
Well, we're having a discussion here. Let me answer that question. I think if somebody genuinely needs employment benefit because for some reason they cannot work due to a physical or mental health problem that is so substantial it prevents them from
Or there
doing
are
a
no
day's
jobs.
work. Well, that's a different thing because they're getting employment benefit. But you were talking about sick there, I think. Then, of course,
all
there's
benefits.
Well, there are two distinctions out there. There is sick benefit and there is indeed
But you
employment
make so
benefit.
if you've got a sick
If people have
non-indigenous
got-
person, what do you do with them?
If you've got a sick non-Indigenous person, I have no problem at all if they have the right to claim benefits, to claim benefits.
You don't
I'm
get
making-
benefits if you haven't got the right to.
But I'm making an economic argument here, Mick. It's nothing to do with the race of the person. I'm asking
well,
you,
you were
still...
the one that brought this in.
Because you haven't answered the question.
You've brought in
Mick,
this point
can
that
you
somehow
answer
people
the
are
question?
different.
Can you answer this following question without pointing racist and bigot and suggesting that I am somehow the incarnation of Nigel Farage? It's a really simple question.
I think you're a fellow traveller.
You
of Nigel Farage.
Don't know me very well then, Mick.
Well, I've seen your paper.
Right, okay, but I'm not
pumping
aligned.
out Farage and reform stuff every day.
I'm actually described more like a Kemi fangirl than a Nigel one.
Okay.
But there you have
Well,
it.
she'll go that way as well eventually when
I'm not
when
sure.
she needs a coalition.
I'm not sure about that. I don't think she'll be the one. I think it'll be Farage needing the coalition. But I just asked you a couple of questions just about mass migration. Did you think it had depressed low-skilled wages? And did you think it had put pressure on public services? That was it.
No, I think companies depress wages.
Really?
Yes.
What?
Because companies pay the wages.
Yes.
So they're the ones that suppress wages.
But you don't think that wages get suppressed if people come in offering their services at a cut price?
Well, they're not wages, are they? They're services. That's self-employment you're talking about.
But if people say...
But wages
if
from
somebody
companies...
said, I'll build you a brick wall for 400 quid, and somebody says, I'll do it for 200 quid...
Well, maybe you've got to look at the quality of that. It's up to the client.
I feel like you're circumnavigating my questions.
It's up to the client what they engage on.
Final question,
Now, most
Mick.
of these people that engage in these services at these cut prices would have been your indigenous British person.
OK, I don't know why you've got a problem. Indigenous is just another word for born in.
But I'm surprised you brought it up.
Well...
Because it's quite a strange thing to say about people, to classify them as either indigenous or foreign, which is a distinction you made.
Well, should I have said British or foreign? Would
I don't
you have
know.
been
I don't know why.
happy with
I don't
that
know why you're
language?
so.
Because we were talking about immigration.
I don't know why you're so off on people's origins and where they've come from.
It wasn't about
to make
the
a
origin.
distinction
It was
about
about the effect of mass migration into this country since 1997. Final question. You were worried at the beginning, or you said you were always worried about Starmer's lack of ideological grounding. Are you convinced that Andy Burnham has got an ideology?
Well, it's not ideology, it's principles is what I mean. I'm not a person who's got an ideology. It's what they believe in, their beliefs.
Do you think he has principles?
I think he's got some principles that are more attractive. The things he's been saying in the last few weeks and since I've known him about public ownership and about the way services are run, the way the economy's run, investment and getting an industrial strategy in this country are very positive things. I've never heard that from Starmer or Reeves or anyone on that side of the Labour Party.
So do you think he's the pick of the bunch when it comes to being the Labour leader and the Prime Minister of the future?
From what I've seen, yeah.
Mick Lynch. It's been feisty, hasn't it? I've enjoyed it.
Peppery.
So what do we take away from this heated exchange? Telegraph host Camilla pushed the typical right-wing line. Mass migration lowers wages. It pressures housing. It changes the country. But Mick Lynch refused to play along. First, he wouldn't blame immigrants. His own Irish parents came here for a better life. He said, I don't believe in blaming people who migrated to seek a better life. Then he pointed at the real culprit. Not migrants. Employers. Companies pay the wages, he said. They're the ones that suppress wages. And when Tominey used the word indigenous, Mick called her out. What does that even mean? Why make distinctions based on where people were born? Tominey then claimed Mick was too quick to reach for the racism lever. His response: if you make distinctions based on ethnic or national origin, you're on the path to racism. His right. The Telegraph is laying the groundwork for Reform UK. Mick predicted it. He said they're making space for racism. Wages have been stagnant for decades. Housing is unaffordable. Public services are crumbling. None of that is because of immigrants. It's because governments prioritized profits over people. Mick Lynch won this exchange. Not because he was louder. Because he had principles, history, and class solidarity on his side. Thanks for watching. Hit like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts below. See you in the next one.